Second Street Property Management has been running a 4-unit property in South Jersey for 6 months now. 3 of the 4 units are in the eviction process. It's not a story about a bad 30 days. That's what 6 months of paying close attention looks like when the previous management wasn't paying attention at all. If you own rentals and you think things are fine because nobody's called you lately, this is exactly the kind of thing that doesn't show up until you actually start tracking every unit every month, without exception. I'm Bud Evans. I spent 35 years in the Air Force, then worked in law enforcement. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I served as mayor of Tenants in New Jersey. And every one of those jobs, those patterns were the same. Problems don't announce themselves. They stay quiet until somebody actually checks. Today, I invest in real estate and I mentor other veterans getting into this business. And what I want to show you is a real snapshot from a property that we've been managing. Names are changed, but every number and every situation here is absolutely real. 2 of these units belong to tenants who had already been living there for years before we even took over. For the first 2 months under our management, everything looked normal. Then both of them simply just stopped paying their portion of the rent, and neither one has actually paid a dollar of it since. Not a partial payment, not a response to a notice, nothing. One of those units owes $2,755 between rent, back utilities, and late fees, and has 3 maintenance issues that are sitting open that nobody addressed: broken toilet, possible sewer problem, and reported mold. The other owes $2,914 and hasn't responded to a single piece of paperwork since it was sent over a year ago, and now has people hanging outside the unit at all hours. Not sure if it's drug activity. It's enough that a neighbor called in to the police herself. Then there's the unit where the wife has been the tenant of record the entire time, paying reliably until her husband, who was never on the lease or on the application in the first place, actually got arrested. Now she's short this month, and the balance sits at $1,721 with an eviction that had already been filed once, had to be refiled because she got a charity to pay her rent. And then there's the one that actually shows how this is supposed to go. The tenant that fell behind, but instead of disappearing, came to us, got on a payment plan, $1,000 every 2 weeks, and paid the entire previous month. The balance was zeroed out by the end of June, signed a lease renewal through 2027. Right now, the balance is just July and August rent, currently on plan. And he's spot on. Added up across all 4 units, it's just about $10,000 in unpaid rent, fees, billbacks on a property that's had eyes on it every single month for half a year. And here's the part that every landlord needs to hear. A tenant who's paid reliably for years can still stop paying the moment that nobody looks closely. And a change in management is exactly when that happens, because they're testing whether the new manager is actually watching them or not. An undisclosed occupant, someone living in the unit who was never on the lease or the application, that's a separate risk that you don't find out about until you actually go in and investigate or do an inspection or something goes wrong. In this case, it was an arrest for domestic abuse and an unexpected loss of income from someone you never screened in the first place. If you own rental property and you don't know right now exactly who's actually living in every unit, what every tenant owes, and where every eviction filing actually stands, that's exactly the blind spot the free, no obligation rental readiness evaluation from Second Street Property Management is built to find. We'll go through your property the same way that we went through this one, and we'll tell you exactly where you stand. No pressure, no sales pitch. Book a call. The link is in the description. Here's what actually keeps a property from getting to this point or catches it fast when it does. Step 1, verify who's actually living in the unit, not just who signed the lease. An occupant who was never on the lease or on the application is a blind spot in your risk, your insurance, and your background check all at once. Step 2, track every balance by category, not just total. Rent, utility billbacks, late fees, they tell you different things. A tenant who's behind because of a sudden life change is a different conversation than one who is chronically late or just behind no matter what. Step 3, put every payment plan in writing with specific dollar amounts and specific dates. The way we did it with this guy, the $1,000 every 2 weeks, that's the difference between a tenant who claws back to a signed renewal and one who quietly falls farther behind. Step 4, respond to maintenance requests, regardless of where a balance stands. A mold concern and a possible sewer issue, don't wait for rent to get current. Ignoring them just adds a habitability problem on top of a collections problem, and that will hurt you when you go to court for eviction. Step 5, know the exact eviction filing status on every unit at all times, whether it's filed, refiled, or about to be. In New Jersey, the process takes months, and every week that you don't actually know where things stand is a week that you can't get paid. 6 months of consistent tracking is what turned 4 uncertain situations into 4 clearly understood ones with way forward. Even if 3 of them are still heading to eviction, at least the owner knows exactly what they're doing. If you want to know exactly where your properties actually stand, not where you assume they stand, book the free rental readiness evaluation with 2nd Street Property Management. I'll go unit by unit with you, tell you the truth about what we find, and if you want, we'll take it over from there. Links in the description. This is no obligation. I'm just going to give you a straight answer. If you're doing a great job, guys, I'm going to tell you you're doing a great job. Okay, that's it for today. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Share this with any other landlord that might be able to learn from what we're talking about here. Until then, I'm Bud Evans. Aim high, execute fast. See you on the next one.